Hey guys, it's Anthony with Austin Historical Weapons Guild. Today I'm talking about Montante, obviously, specifically working into Figueiredo's simple rule number one. It's a fairly straightforward drill. I really look at these rules he's outlining as kind of touching stones, learning points for how to hold the Montante, how to wield it, what you're doing with it, and kind of working from there. This is probably where the signature kick start comes from. It's outlined here explicitly. I don't believe the other rules say explicitly, but everyone tends to like to start the other rules from that kick position. The kick itself is actually really important. It really helps to drive home that you need to get the Montante moving, and ideally want to keep it moving, and it ties into the flow. He describes the first rules. I don't know if he means to be all of them. So the first rule is really showing the elegance and simplicity and the beauty of the weapon. How you can move through, set it up, hold through, and start really flowing through itself. And the first step to that, getting to feel that, is that opening kick. So he describes it opening starting with your left foot forward, your thumb gripping at the cross, thumb down, and kind of says a simple kick like this, and it just helps bring it around and through. So if you're really looking to study and get into Montante, I think this is one of those really simple, obvious lessons that kind of get glossed over and lost a little bit. This kick can come through and feed the following motion, right? It's not just yeah, I kicked my sword and now I gotta pick it up and move it. You really want this kick to push through and move with everything else. So as I kick it, everything comes up and lines up, and then I can make my first attack with that big opening motion. So again, getting this kick to bleed, to flow, to set up really helps make the motion easier, but really starts to teach you the basic foundations of Montante, how Figueiredo seems to be saying to you, using it with this motion that flows through and sets up. So we already saw the opening with a quick run through of what the technique looks like. One of the other things I think is really important here that I know I do vastly differently than everyone else is using that second cut, that revés, as a long edge cut, as a true edge cut. So really simple. I kick, I circle, I bring a rising cut from my right side, a talho, as I step through, and I want to end, he says, with the sword perpendicular to your face. So I can interpret it as kind of recessed, almost ox-like position. I'm here, I'm braced low, I'm couched, I'm ready to go. He says your next attack should be with the other edge of the sword. I don't think he wants you doing a false edge cut like this, that you then try to end again perpendicular. I think he wants us to literally rotate the sword, and then as we step through, we can still cut with our long edge, but we're using the other edge of the sword. And I'll demonstrate with a synthetic real quick. Real quick, demonstrating the synthetic, how we can switch edges, keeping our long edge aligned. So again, starting from here, starting with my kick. As I come through, notice the wide edge up, tape is down. I'm going to rotate the sword. I'm going to switch my grip behind, and I can pull through, keeping this long edge, keeping this easy structure, easy brace. Notice I've switched the edge, stepping back the same way. I want to rotate, switch my grip, pull through, and pull through. This rotation, this easy switch, is important to help control the momentum of the blade. Right? If I'm sitting here doing nearly vertical attacks like this, I can keep that same edge forward the entire time, and it's not a big deal, and I can do this. As soon as the attacks go wide, this gets a lot harder to get back out. And as these wider cuts start happening, you run the risk of just getting tangled in your arms, or worse yet, hitting your leg as you're trying to make these cuts flow through. By teaching us early on that we want to switch our grip and pull through, we get a much more controlled flow. If you notice carefully, I'm doing the same thing with the steel sword. So right, with the steel sword, I'm doing that same grip position, grip switching. I'm just doing it behind and controlled. And you get a lot more control with this little pop than you do by not having it mixed into it. So those are the two main takeaways for myself for this first rule, for this simple rule 1. Again, this is not a weapon to be picked up lightly, pun intended. This is something you need to have a lot of experience, a lot of mobility work, if you're working, especially working with a steel one. The synthetic trainers, you can get away a little bit more, but this is something that you need to be really careful of your shoulders, of your knees. There's a lot of mass, a lot of momentum involved in this weapon. So making sure you're doing it safely, doing it smart, building up slowly and not just jumping in and flailing around for 20, 30 minutes at a time, but really let yourself work up and feel how this applies. As always, guys, thank you for watching. If there's any questions, comments, please leave feedback below, shoot us an email, or reach out to us on Facebook.